Have you ever found yourself waking up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night, shuffling across the cool floor just to use the bathroom and telling yourself, well, that's just old age? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of men and women over 60 quietly accept these restless nights as something natural. But here's the truth. Science has shown that waking up often at night to urinate is not simply a part of aging. It even has a name, Nocturia, and it steals away the most healing, refreshing part of sleep. Now, why does this matter? Because studies reveal that Nocturia doesn't just disturb your rest, it triples the likelihood of poor sleep, weakens memory, and increases the risk of accidents at night. And yet, in more than 80% of cases, it's not caused by illness or disease at all. Instead, it comes from a handful of daily habits that most people never suspect. The hopeful news is this. When you change those habits, your body can return to a natural rhythm, and sleep can once again feel peaceful and whole. Imagine this. Instead of dragging yourself out of bed at 2, at 4, and again at 6, you sleep 6 or even 7 hours without interruption. Instead of starting your day tired, groggy, and unsteady, you rise in the morning feeling lighter, clearer, and more refreshed. So let me ask you, wouldn't you like to trade those broken nights for steady healing rest? Tonight we begin that journey together. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you 5 simple changes, no medicines, no surgery, that can unlock the sleep you thought was lost to age. Most people over 60 have been told again and again that waking up often at night is just part of getting older. But let's pause and think carefully. Is it really natural that the best years of wisdom should be spent in restless nights, stumbling to the bathroom and then struggling to get back to sleep? Or could it be that something else, something we do every day without noticing, is quietly at work? Medical research gives us a very clear answer. A large review of studies in 2020 showed that people who suffer from nocturia are more than 3 times as likely to report poor sleep quality compared to those who don't. That same research also linked frequent night urination to a higher risk of memory decline, weakened immune function, and even greater chances of serious health problems later on. Imagine that. Just a few interruptions in your sleep, repeated night after night, can ripple through every system of your body. But the damage is not only inside. Think about the dangers in the quiet hours. An unsteady step in the dark, a slippery bathroom floor. How many stories have we heard of elders falling at night, sometimes leading to broken bones or long hospital stays? One man once told me, I thought my bladder was only disturbing my sleep. I didn't realize it was disturbing my whole life. That simple statement holds a truth we cannot ignore. Now here comes the part that should give you hope. In over 80% of cases, nocturia is not caused by disease. It is not an unavoidable curse of aging. It often comes from everyday habits. What time we eat, how much we drink in the evening, even how we sleep in bed. These habits quietly teach the bladder and kidneys to work at the wrong hours, forcing us awake when we should be resting deeply. So instead of thinking, this is just who I am now, we can think, maybe my body is simply asking me to adjust. Instead of living with exhaustion and broken nights, we can make small, natural changes that bring back balance. The science is clear, and the stories of thousands of seniors confirm it. When we change our habits, the nights change too. In just a moment, I'll take you step by step through the 5 most common habits that trigger nocturia. As you listen, I invite you to ask yourself, which of these might be quietly shaping your nights? Stay with me, because the answer could be simpler and more powerful than you ever imagined. Let's begin with the very first habit, one that seems harmless but often plays the biggest role: drinking too many fluids close to bedtime. Many seniors believe that as long as they avoid a big glass of water right before sleep, they are safe. But the truth is more subtle. What we eat and drink in the 2 or 3 hours before bed Soups, juicy fruits, herbal teas, even that comforting cup of milk can quietly fill the bladder and wake us up again and again. Think of Mrs. Kamala, a 72-year-old woman who loved to end her evenings with a warm bowl of rasam and a calming cup of chamomile tea. She thought these were healthy rituals, yet every night she was up 4 or 5 times, pacing to the bathroom. She even joked, "I felt like a night guard for my own bladder." It wasn't until she was guided to set a liquid cutoff time, 3 hours before bed, that her nights began to change. She cut back on soups, fruits, teas, and milk after that hour. Within 2 weeks, she was waking only once a night. On some nights, she slept through until morning, a gift she hadn't known in years. Science explains why this works. When we limit fluids in the evening, our body naturally increases a hormone called vasopressin, which tells the kidneys to slow urine production at night. This means the bladder can rest, and so can you. A study in 2024 confirmed that late evening fluid intake strongly predicts nocturia, and that shifting liquids earlier in the day helps reduce nighttime trips to the bathroom. Now imagine yourself tomorrow evening. Instead of sipping that extra tea at 9 o'clock, you finish your fluids by 6 or 7. Instead of being pulled out of sleep at midnight, your bladder stays calm and you drift into deeper rest. The result is not just fewer bathroom trips, it's waking up clearer, lighter, and more refreshed. For those who worry about thirst, here's a simple tip. Keep a small bottle of water beside your bed. Use it only if you truly need it, not out of habit. This way, your body learns once again to sleep through the night. So I ask you, could something as small as skipping a cup of tea give you back an entire night's sleep? For many, it has. And for you, this one change could be the very first step toward peaceful, unbroken rest. The second habit is one that many of us never connect with our bladder at all: eating dinner too late and including foods or drinks that act as natural diuretics. For many families, especially in retirement years, dinner tends to drift later and later, closer to 8 or even 9 o'clock. It feels pleasant to sit with family, to talk, to enjoy a cup of tea or a small sweet afterward. But the body's clock, known as the circadian rhythm, has a different opinion. Meet Aaron, a 68-year-old grandfather from Kochi. For years, he believed his nighttime trips to the bathroom were simply part of aging. Dinner was usually around 8:30 p.m., followed by light conversation and a warm cup of green tea. Without fail, he would be up at 1 a.m., then again at 3:30, and once more around 5. His days became heavy, dull, and drained of energy. He said, "I felt like a ghost moving through my own home." When Arun's doctors suggested 2 small changes, he was skeptical. The advice was simple. Move dinner to 6 p.m. and avoid diuretic foods after 4 in the afternoon. That meant saying goodbye to evening cucumber salads, watermelon slices, coffee, chocolate, and especially his green tea before bed. Within 10 days, something remarkable happened. He began waking only once during the night. After 3 weeks, he enjoyed stretches of 6 uninterrupted hours of sleep, something he hadn't experienced in decades. Research supports Aaron's experience. Late dinners force the body to keep digesting when it should be resting, which stresses not only the stomach, but also the bladder. Natural diuretics like tea, coffee, celery, asparagus, or chocolate gently push the kidneys to produce more urine, which means more nighttime awakenings. By shifting meals earlier, you give your system time to process food before sleep. The bladder rests, digestion improves, and even acid reflux can ease. Now picture this. Instead of lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, you glide through the night with steady sleep. Instead of beginning the day groggy, you rise with a clearer mind and a lighter body. So let me ask you, could moving dinner just 2 hours earlier and setting aside that late cup of tea give you back the freedom of peaceful nights? For Aaron, it was the turning point. For you, this simple change might unlock the same gift, deep, refreshing rest that carries you through the day with energy once again. The third habit is one that sounds sensible, but often works against us. The just-in-case trip to the bathroom before bed. Many of us were taught by parents or grandparents that it is wise to empty the bladder, even if we don't feel the urge, so that we can sleep peacefully. But here's the hidden truth. This very ritual may be training the bladder to misbehave. Take the story of Savita, a 74-year-old widow from Pune. Each night she ended her day with a warm glass of milk, a few pages from her favorite book, and a cautious trip to the bathroom. I didn't really feel the need, she admitted, but I thought it was safer. Yet despite her efforts, she was waking at least 3 times every night, frustrated and tired. When she finally consulted a urologist, she learned something surprising. The bladder is made of muscles, and muscles learn habits. By emptying her bladder when it wasn't full, Savita was unknowingly teaching her body to send urgency signals too early. Instead of holding 300 to 500 milliliters, her bladder was crying out after only 100 or 150. No wonder her nights were so restless. With guidance, Savita began what her doctor called the true urge principle. She learned to wait until the bladder truly signaled fullness. If she felt restless but uncertain, she would distract herself, read a few more pages, breathe slowly, or listen to soothing music for 15 minutes. Over time, her bladder learned to hold more, and her nights changed. Within weeks, she was sleeping 5 to 6 hours straight, something she had not known in years. Science supports this retraining. Frequent unnecessary trips condition the bladder to be overactive. But when we practice patience and trust the body's signals, the bladder gradually strengthens and urgency decreases. For seniors, this can mean the difference between broken nights and a return to steady healing sleep. Now imagine yourself tonight. Instead of making that extra trip out of habit, you settle into bed and remind yourself, I will go only if my body truly needs it. Instead of waking for a trickle, you wake after hours of uninterrupted rest. So I ask you, is it possible that the bladder is not the problem, but the habit we created? Letting go of one unnecessary ritual might give you back an entire night of peace. For Savita, it did. And for you, this could be the key to trusting your body again and reclaiming the sleep you deserve. The fourth habit may surprise you because it has little to do with drinking or eating and everything to do with how you rest your body at night, your sleeping posture, and your pillow. Many elders, out of long years of comfort or habit, fall asleep on their stomachs or with pillows stacked too high. It feels familiar, but for the bladder and for circulation, these positions can quietly create chaos. Consider the case of Mr. Menon, a 71-year-old retired math teacher. For decades, he believed sleeping on his stomach helped calm his heartbeat. Yet despite good health otherwise, he struggled with severe nocturia, waking 4 or 5 times each night. When he finally visited a sleep specialist, the advice was not about medication, but about posture. Sleeping on the stomach, he was told, pressed his abdomen and placed pressure directly on the bladder. This pressure created false signals that urged him awake, even when the bladder was far from full. There was another problem. His pillow was either too flat or too thick, disrupting the alignment of his neck and spine. Poor alignment during the day had caused fluid to pool in his legs. At night when he lay down, that fluid returned to the bloodstream and forced his kidneys to work harder. Another hidden trigger for nighttime urination. With gentle coaching, Mr. Menon tried a new approach. He began sleeping on his left side with a pillow tucked between his knees to keep his hips and spine aligned. He chose a head pillow that matched the curve of his neck, not too high, not too low. Within 2 weeks, the change was striking. He slept 5 to 6 hours without waking. He noticed not only fewer bathroom trips, but also less stiffness in his back and more lightness in the morning. Research confirms these benefits. Sleeping on the left side improves circulation, reduces pressure on the bladder, and supports digestion. Using the right pillow allows fluid balance to stabilize and prevents unnecessary kidney overwork. These small, no-cost adjustments can transform the body's nightly rhythm. So picture yourself tonight. Instead of sinking onto your stomach, you lie gently on your side, supported, aligned, free of pressure. Instead of waking to false alarms, you wake after a long, deep stretch of rest. Could it be that something as simple as posture, not age, not weakness, is what has been robbing your nights? For Mr. Menon, the answer was yes. And perhaps for you, one small shift in how you sleep could unlock the peaceful nights you have been waiting for. The fifth and final habit may seem almost too simple, but it touches something every one of us feels each night: the temperature of the room and the clothes we wear to bed. Many seniors bundle up warmly, believing heavy flannel pajamas or extra blankets will help them drift into slumber. Others seal the room tight with no fan or airflow, thinking this will create comfort. Yet what happens instead is overheating, and the body has its own way of dealing with excess heat. Meet Mrs. Kamala, a 69-year-old retired school teacher. For years, she slept in a closed room, wrapped in thick pajamas, certain that warmth meant rest. But each night she woke 4 or 5 times, restless and drenched in sweat. She thought age was the culprit. Then she learned that when the body overheats, circulation increases to cool it down. This process quietly drives more fluid through the kidneys, which means more urine production at night. In short, her pajamas and room temperature were nudging her bladder awake. With guidance, she made small but meaningful changes. She switched to breathable cotton nightwear. She opened her window slightly to let in a breeze. She used a light fan, not to chill the room, but to keep air moving. The result was dramatic. In just 1 week, her nighttime awakenings dropped by half. By the third week, she said with a smile, "I always blamed age, but it was only my pajamas and the heat." Science backs her story. Studies show that the ideal sleeping temperature for deep, restorative rest is around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, cooler than most people think. Fabrics like cotton or linen allow the body to regulate heat without sweating. For those who get cold easily, layering 2 or 3 light garments and using a breathable blanket is far better than trapping heat under heavy clothing. Overheating not only disrupts sleep, but also throws off hormonal rhythms that support deep rest. Now imagine this in your own life. Instead of tossing under heavy blankets, you rest in a cool, gentle breeze. Instead of waking drenched and rushing to the bathroom, your body stays balanced, calm, and at ease. So let me ask you, could something as simple as adjusting your pajamas and room temperature be the missing piece to your peaceful nights? For Mrs. Kamala, it was life-changing. And perhaps for you, this final shift may be the one that turns restless nights into restful sleep. So now let's step back and see the bigger picture. For years, many of us have quietly accepted restless nights as part of growing older. We've told ourselves, this is just age. This is just how life is now. But the truth we've uncovered together is very different. Nighttime urination, or nocturia, is not a natural part of aging. It is often the result of small, hidden habits. Habits we can change. Think about what we have seen. Instead of late-night teas and soups, shifting fluids earlier allows the bladder to rest. Instead of dinner at 8 or 9, moving meals to 6 restores balance to the body's rhythm. Instead of training the bladder with just-in-case trips, we relearn to trust its true signals. Instead of pressing our abdomen with poor posture or the wrong pillow, we align the body for calm and comfort. And instead of sweating in heavy pajamas, we cool the room and let sleep embrace us fully. Each of these changes may seem small, but together they form golden keys. They unlock nights of 6 or 7 hours of steady rest. They bring back mornings filled with clarity, energy, and peace. They restore confidence, memory, and even joy. So let me ask you, instead of living with broken nights, Why not take hold of these 5 simple keys and open the door to healing sleep again? You have spent your life caring for others. Now with these gentle changes, you can give your body the care it has been waiting for. Tonight, perhaps for the first time in years, you may sleep like you once did, in peace, in comfort, and in hope. If you've stayed with me until now, it means you truly care about your health and your nights of rest. I'd love to hear from you. Try just one of these 5 changes for the next 3 nights and then share your result in the comments below. Did it help? Did you feel more refreshed? Or if that feels too personal, simply type the word hope, because sometimes hope is the first step to healing. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Each week, we meet here to share simple, science-backed wisdom for living with energy, clarity, and joy after 60. And please share this video with a friend or loved one who might be silently struggling with restless nights. Together, we can remind each other that better sleep, better health, and better days are always possible.